Rage on that beat, going crazy.
What's up? This is Uncle Reg live. What's up? What's up? what's gonna happen. Let's see what's gonna happen. Shoot, click on this. Let's see. Alright, alright. What's going on here? I'll put it over there. Damn, something. Okay, there we go. Alright. Alright, folks. Let's just go. Let's do this, man. Let's talk about this. Cynical One in the house. What's up? What's up? Yeah, Monday is going to be very interesting. You know, with the instructions, and they're going to deliver. I think I already got it, but this is it. Monday, they receive the instructions from the judge, and jury deliberations start. So far, you know, the jury heard a closing argument from the defense and a rebuttal from the prosecution Friday. Talk about some other things that, you know, that popped up too and stuff. You know, I don't know, some people is worried that Diddy might get off, might somehow beat the case, but I don't see how he can beat a fair case. That's what these people don't understand. They still think it's state. They still got this young Doug case in their mind, thinking that, you know, Doug beat the TPD. You know, this is federal charge. And then when they dropped all the state charges, and they're afraid that Trump might. Now Trump can give him a pardon. But why would Trump give him a pardon? I just don't think Trump will give him a pardon. But Trump did say something about if he feels that the trial was unfair, then he'll give him a pardon. I don't think Trump will do it because he talked mess about Trump. And I don't think that just be bad for Trump right now politically to do that, you know. A lot of women, a lot of people will be mad at him. I don't think he would. I think he should just stay out of it and let it go down like it's supposed to and stuff. Now it was his last day in office. Yeah, I could see him pardoning him then. I could see him pardoning P. Diddy after Trump get out of office. You know, who cares? You know, they can't hit him. They can't do anything to him. He's out of office and not coming back in. All that talk about the third term, that he's trying to get a third term, that's bogus. Don't believe that shit. It ain't happening. It ain't going to circumvent the Constitution. That ain't going to happen. There'll be some hell to pay if that shit happens. And now that means that the Democrats, if they get it, they can get 3 terms. You know, and then, you know, so I don't think you want that. You gotta think these things out. You know, I don't think that Trump, he says stuff, but you don't think what he be saying out. That you just can't go ahead and circumvent the Constitution. But him giving P. Diddy a pardon, so basically, right now, the defense had his last chance to prove P. Diddy was a victim, you know, of gold diggers, you can say, basically. They wanted the money and stuff. You know, they enjoyed the sex and the freak offs and fully agree with it. You know, the defense got to prove that that's not the case. And the prosecution had a chance to prove that Diddy, was forced, Cassie and others into freak-offs, using drugs, influence, money, get his way. He didn't. He used violence, intimidation, extort to get what he wanted. That's what the prosecution proved. Defense, like I said before, defense had to prove that Diddy was the victim, basically. Not all this. The women enjoyed the freak off. They didn't go there. Money was there for monetary reasons. So this has been going on all basically this week. Because the prosecution rested this case and the defense, and then the prosecution rebutted Friday. So the defense would come breaking to going in, really going in. And I'm going to talk about some of the stuff the defense was saying. Let me see. Okay, defense blamed others for calm behavior. Prosecution say while starting, rebuttal says defense just spent a whole lot of energy blaming his victims and the U.S. government for his lies and threatened for acceptable behavior, as Comey said. Okay, make no mistake, the trial was about how Sean Hardwood was never an option. And then he said here the defense attorney improperly suggests that the government target call, the judge said. Okay, during the jury break at the end of the defense closing arguments and upcoming prosecution rebuttal, the judge, Sam Barmarian, said the defense attorney Mark Afafino improperly suggests that the jury that the government target John Puffy Combs. The judge said that he's going to instruct the jury that the government decisions about prosecutions are not for the jury to consider. So this is going in. He said, and they were saying that he is innocent. The defense attorney says at the end of the closing argument. Wrapping up the closing argument, defense Mark Acafino told the jury that it would take courage to quit Sean P. Diddy Combs, but asked them to do the right thing and acquit him of all charges against him. If you should feel bold, you should feel the courage that you will need to call this as you see it, and I am asking you to summon the courage and to do what is needed to be done. He's not a racketeer. Afafino said, okay, he is none of these things. He's innocent. Sit there innocent, pointing to Combs. Return him to his family who have been waiting for him. Afafino suggests that the government target Combs after Cassie November 2023 lawsuit came out and did what they could to get him without having the evidence. See, they had no evidence. It's crazy. So they was going in, man. They was going in. Okay, and they said here the defense argued against racketeering conspiracy charges. No one was indicted with Combs. Okay, the defense attorney, told the jury no alleged co-conspirators was indicted with something. Okay, the government doesn't have any alleged co-conspiracy. What you mean they did? Who have it? Who testified to prove? They gonna get charged after this, man. If the government suggests that Chrissy Combs, a former chief of staff of Combs, was a co-conspirator, but I feel said that Combs was just a helpful employee who everyone. This is bullshit. Come on, man. Really? This is what they said. And he questioned Cassie Ventura would call Combs and D-Rock. Chrissy Combs is gonna get it, man. If P. Diddy found get this, she's up next. And D-Rock too. Brother Ellie, what's up? You can really hear me? Oh yeah. I got tired of motherfuckers. Let's see. Damn. I said, you can't really hear you. Oh, what do you mean? You can't really hear me. Hold on, I think I know what it is. Hold on, this is a part that fan on. Well, hold on real quick. All right, you hear me now? You hear me now? Hold on, man. I can hear it on here. Shit. You'll be able to hear me now. Let me see. Filter. Let me edit. All right. Alright, alright. Okay, let's go. I'm sure you probably can hear me. I'll see what happens. But anyway, like I was saying, where I left off at, okay, he questioned Cassie Ventura, called Corum, okay, D-Rock, former head of security at Combs, assaulted Ventura, California, Intercontinental Hotel, 2016. They were co-conspirators working only for Combs' benefit. A co-conspirator would kick the door in, right? I mean, God forbid if John Gotti was at your door, you would call Samuel Bull Gravano. Aquafino said. He's reaching on that and stuff. It said the defense said that Combs would reasonably assume his use of escort service was legal. So he's saying these escorts, but that's still a form. Ain't the escort service still a form of prostitution? You pay them for escort. Yeah, escort is not escort. Usually sex happens when you call these escorts, and these are high price. Don't let all these escorts end up with high price prostitutes. That's it. He know better than this. But the defense said, okay, referred to the escort service, cowboy and angels that were frequently provided men who attended freak offs, drug fuel. Okay, jury saw a measure between Combs and high-ranking employees at the company. Okay, the Aquafino suggested that the legal ladder surrounding such escort service is vague, and the music mogul would have assumed that its operation would on up and up. Why would a lawyer say people pay for escort all the time if the two people meet and they choose to have sex? It looks like that's bullshit. They got it where money was exchanged hands. You know what the hell they talking about? But this is the defense. There is companies around the world doing this, and Cowboy for Angels is one of them. He said, adding that the existence is evidence in Combs' mind that they were doing okay. He said Cowboy for Angels still appears to be in business today. Yeah, but they still escort service. Okay, he said this. Guess this. This is what he said. Aquafino said also argued that the videos of the freak offs was homemade porn. Come on, man. Okay. In every porn movie, I assume the actors get paid to have sex. How is that not prostitution? I don't know. You don't know either. Come on, man. This is what they were saying. This was what the defense was doing when it was up. And then the defense tried to cast doubt on Jane's account. That's what you call it, baby mama. 50 Cent baby mama. Yeah. So, of course they want to slam Jane testimony. 50 Cent baby mama, aka so they've been doing all this, man. You know, and they took the whole day. It was not Friday, it was Thursday. Okay, now they talked about the videos. Aquafina acknowledged that the Combs may have threatened to release videos of the freak offs. Yes, he did. He used that as bribery, extortion, from time to time, but said that there is no way God Green Earth to Shine was going to do this. That's bullshit. You don't know that. That's speculation. I always said that the videos of freak offs shown generally intimate. Come on. It doesn't think that Combs is the only person in America making homemade porn. Okay, and he said at State Line, he said the government called two men who had sex with Ventura during the freak offs and questioned why the government did not call any men who allegedly had sex with Jane. He added two The two men both testified that they aren't prostitutes and didn't travel across state lines. And no, they were sex workers. What do you tell? The guys were sex workers despite receiving money afterwards. That was still, they still received money. How can you say they wasn't getting something for their services for sex? And then he said Combs embraced the lawyer after closing. And then the prosecution did their rebuttal. And then the defense blamed others for Combs' behavior. And the prosecutor said, well, still okay. The defense just spent a whole ending. Okay, I read that. All right, let me see. The prosecutor said that Oliver Combs knew he was breaking the law by flying out escorts. Okay. And they call me, Combs is trying to wiggle out of the federal transportation charges by saying he never tried to pay anyone for sex. He flew escorts out across the country, watched them have sex while he masturbated, and then handed them cash. Well, that's like prostitution. That's like an exchange of services to me. Homie said the defense, those things had nothing to do with each other and doesn't even pass the lab test. Common sense alone will show you that when the defendant flew those escorts out, it was not for stimulating conversation. It was for sex. Exactly. His money is for sex, sexual performance, not for time. That's prostitution, homie said. Okay, the prosecutor allowed that some of the men might have been willing to do sex acts regardless of money, but when they got the cash at the end of the night, they was getting paid for sex. That's how they get them. When cash is exchanged, you got paid for sex. You're acting as a prostitute. John and the trick. Combs also said it's irrelevant what the escort thought about the interaction. Exactly. The law pertains to Combs. The state mind were to transported the men for prostitution, she argued. Combs knew that what he was doing illegal because he said in a text message to ensure that she needed to make sure the escort wasn't undercover cops. There you go. Right there. Bam. Read that again. Combs knew he was doing was illegal. Was illegal because he said in the text message to ensure that she needed to make sure escorts weren't undercover cops. The jury also saw Combs' text to an escort asking if he was a cop. There you go. What's that? That's the evidence right there. Come on, it's in the text messages. As the prosecutor, Combs responded that the defense suggests that Combs couldn't have had an enterprise because their purpose was an illegal activity. An enterprise could have a lawful and unlawful purposes, Combs said. Prosecutors aren't claiming that the companies themselves were illegal, but the use of some of the money to further the enterprise. That's what it was. So what money did the enterprise made, they used that for illegal activity, that's what he's saying. She said the former Combs chief of staff, Christine Combs, and D-Rock, former head of security, were friendly with the Combs' girlfriend, Cassie, because it helped them get back to Combs and do what he wanted. They played both sides. Ain't that something? And then the prosecution revisited Combs' testimony going after Kid Cudi. Okay, the prosecutor didn't know Combs said in testimony that Cassie Ventura and the rapper Kid Cudi corroborated ex-employee Capricorn Clark claimed that she was kidnapped by Combs and forced him to go with him to break into the rapper's house. Okay, Combs showed that the jury transcript and it said that Clark called him outside his house to warn Combs that they're there and say that he had been forced to go with him. Defense attorney federally told the jury that Clark lied when she said that Combs had a gun, and when it took her to go see the rapper house. Aquafino suggested Combs didn't use a gun, and he wanted a fist fight with Kid Cudi. And he told me, let's see, it makes total sense that when he going to kill another man, he's bringing a gun. When he beating a woman half his size, he doesn't need a gun. But when he's going after a man who can match his physicality, he's bringing a gun, Comey argued. Okay, Comey also said that the defense offered misleading theories about Kid Cudi getting the car blown up. And Comey said that Combs didn't personally throw the Molotov cocktail into the rapper's car, but he directed it. So he said he directed it. Okay, which is true. Which, mob boss, you give orders, and your henchmen, act out the orders. That's all that is. Virginia testified, his credit card would blow up while Combs was out of the country. He said he was going to blow up the car up, and lo and behold, it blew up, Comey said. Okay, let's see what else we can talk about. This is bribery. The prosecutor said that about the deal obtained material assault video. Okay, they talk about the bribery. Now, this is where I think that is her mom. Okay, the prosecutor told me, non-disclosure agreement of Eddie Garcia, who worked as a security officer. Oh, that's about the video. Okay. They're just going back over all the stuff they said into the entire case. That was the background. Okay, Garcia testified after assaulted Combs' girlfriend hotel, gave him $100,000 cash in change for his surveillance video. That's that video, the infamous video that everybody sees. Because he signed paperwork including non-disclosure agreement, declared nothing. It was only the only existing copy of the video. Okay, it said a non-disclosure agreement shows that Combs was worried about the law enforcement, since mentioned Garcia had to tell Combs if he received a court order. Combs pointed to Garcia, and Combs told him not to make a big purchase with the money. The only reason Combs would say that if he was worried that the police may try to track down the video. So, hey man, this is all incriminating. He said that, don't make no big purchases with the money and stuff. This and that, $100,000 he gave him. Of course, the police and the were shot in cold mind when the payment was arranged. Comey said this is bribery. Let me read that again. Of course, the police and the investigation were on Sean Combs' mind. When the payment was arranged, Comey said, this is bribery. The plaintiff's lawyer don't get phones tapped, Comey said. Who tapped phones? The feds. Who tapped phones? Law enforcement. What he's doing on those calls and tampering with witnesses. This is the prosecutor is tampering. I guess they were talking about tampering alleged allegations. I said, Comey responded to the defense. Machiavelli claimed that the recordings of the phone call with Jane following Ventura 2023 lawsuit against Combs, so that Combs was worried about civil lawsuits. So he already knew it was on his ass. I said, Comey pointed out that on the recording, Combs said several times he can't be on the phone. There you go. And then Combs couldn't have done his dirty work without help from his inner circle. See, these are all the people that helped him. It says in rebuttal, Combs delegated everything from mundane to illegal tasks to associates. This is a guy who can get himself his own water bottle or plug in his own phone charger, said, and then argued that at certain needs, the inner circle can help him do things like obtain drugs or kidnap Capricorn Clark. He dedicated his inner circle handling the dirty work for him. She also rejected defense, suggests that anyone in Combs' inner circle did not know about his crimes, including security guards. That's right. So now, this is where, I don't know. Gene Deal used to work for him, so Gene Deal had to know something was going on. But maybe Gene Deal, took a plea, gave up to stay out of jail. I'm just saying. And then the prosecutor said that the prosecutor pushed back against suggesting that the accusers enjoyed the freak off. And this is what the defense was saying, that they enjoyed the freak offs. They said, Comey described the freak off hotel nights as being dark, hotel room, awake food, they covered with oil, wearing 8-inch heels, often with a UTI, sitting in the same position, performing sex for hours. She also described having sex for hours, including strangers, having unprotected sex with strangers, and rotating men for days. Oh yeah, I didn't mention too. P. Diddy got another lawsuit out. Apparently this girl is suing him. Apparently he got her pregnant or something like that. I don't know. It's another lawsuit. Crazy. But I'll probably talk about that tomorrow and stuff. A couple people mentioned it out here. Let's see. Hey, Comey said the jury did not have financial initiative to lie on the stand. She already secured $30 million settlement. Okay, from the Intercontinental Hotel. Okay, but you already got paid for the media. Yeah, because so she's not bounded by money no more. Whatever they was trying to prove that she was bounded by money, she did this because she wanted to. Why would she risk it all by person herself at a federal trial? And they were saying that, the prosecutor rejected the suggestion that Combs accused had financial motives. No, because the thing is that they agreed at first, but then when they start saying no, I don't want to do it, and they've been forced to do it, and forced not to get paid or whatever the case may be, then you're guilty. So basically, that's all I'm gonna go. So I'm not gonna go through nothing else. So that's it. So it looks like we're gonna see what's gonna happen Monday. Or some other news that went down. This P. Diddy's son King Combs came out with a album produced by Kanye West. Now I see why Kanye West was at the trial. Put out an album dissing the witnesses, testifying against his father, and throwing shade on all the rappers who turned their backs on his father while trial going on. Ain't nobody want to be part of that shit. Remember, P. Diddy didn't have no witness. No witnesses came to testify for P. Diddy. We thought it was be a whole bunch of witnesses coming. Ain't nobody testified. Remember I did a video about that they got three people who gonna testify. None of them testified. Nobody want to be involved because they're all complicit. And probably all of them took deals. The prosecution had a whole bunch of people, had 35 witnesses come through. P. Diddy had none. And P. Diddy was going to get on the stand. Crazy. I did a video saying that the bad boy vice president she was gonna testify. No, apparently that was false. No witnesses testified for P. Diddy. Find that strange? You find that strange? Yes, I find it real strange. That's why Cone put this album out, dissing all the rappers. They're not coming to his father's defense. Put in a good word for him. Why can't you put in a good word for him when this nigga was going around extorting people, not paying nobody nothing for the royalties? You do music for him. Apparently, you seem like the only one becoming really rich is him, not you. That's probably why he gave back all of his publishing to all his artists. Remember, they were saying just before this happened, is that coincidence? Maybe he knew something would go down or something. Maybe he knew he got a word that they was looking at him. Maybe Gary Hart probably was hoping that when he go to trial, these people come out and say something good to him about him, testify on his behalf. So maybe P. Diddy already knew that he was under investigation with the feds. I think he should have left like Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons gave you the blueprint. Hey man, it's too hot for us. We gotta get up out of here. Forget everything. I got my money. Fuck you. You can have it all. I'm gone. Disappear. When they got Weinstein and Epstein, you already knew that it was already some fuck with shit gonna go down. Two biggest white guys, both of them Jews, I guess, small hats, whatever, got them. Weinstein still hanging on there. Epstein offed himself. Russell Simmons was the only smart one. And maybe Ray J. Maybe they told Ray J to get up out of here, and once the smoke clear, you can come on back and we can resume your business. You have a new title. You be the man now. I'm just saying. And then we got his other son, Justin Combs, in a lawsuit. Apparently, he's in charge with setting up a gang rape with his father and 3 other men at I guess P. Diddy on LA home. So I guess his branches out of New Orleans and stuff, and I guess Justin Combs promised, to get her a gig or whatever, get her this job or whatever the case through him and his dad influence. Apparently when she got there, they got giving her drinks that was spiked and stuff, and then 3 masked men came in, including his P. Diddy father. I mean Justin Combs' father, and they raped her for the weekend, I guess. Jeez. So she's looking for money now. So even if P. Diddy get off, if he don't get off, his sons is in trouble. His sons probably be up on the chopping block next, and they probably be light work because they ain't got no money. There's gonna be a lot of people gonna catch hell after this case is over, and we might see the end of this case Monday. We might. I don't know. Like I said, jury deliberation can take from 1 day to months. For months. We don't know. But I don't think this would be a long deliberation. I think it's going to be quick. We might get something back in a couple days before the weekend ends. You might hear this nigga might be sentenced Wednesday or Friday. We don't know. It might all happen one day. So yeah, we already made our decision. And that's it. Bam. I don't know. But anyway, folks, that's all I got. I had to come on and talk about this. Gotta talk about this. This is coming to the end of it, folks. Coming to the end. Coming to the end. Finally. And I'm gonna tell you, this trial has boost people's careers up. People that was in the shadows is kind of out there now. Made a name for himself. Tisha Tell, Before that, she was, you can say a big YouTuber in the gossip world or whatever. Now she's on television. Dateline, Nancy Grace, Channel 7. Giving her take. Career blew up. Some people's career is kind of like, but I could tell you right now, all of us ate off of this. For real though. For real though. So that's all I got for now. Uncle Reg's be back tomorrow, pre-recorded video. Because tomorrow might be explosive. We got to see what's gonna happen. But until then, Uncle Reg signing off. Peace.